So yeah, I was a child of divorce, and I mean, that was over 30 years ago, but my parents had a. So what it is attorneys kind of feeding off of people's pain and emotion in some ways. So some of it is the client and some of it is the counsel too. And then if you get two bad ones, which they usually find each other, it can be just horrific for the kids, the other side. So when I open my practice, my sister works with me too. When we both, we feel like we trauma bonded with different things that we went through. But the way that we structure the practice is we try litigation as like a last resort. We try to get clients to, settle amicably through the mediation process. I mean, the court system has a place for extenuating circumstances, but like you were saying, rightfully, there are these cases that are really traumatic and that don't settle. It's just because one party is, people will use the legal system, the justice system to hurt their spouse. And then the kids are a weapon. And we did a video here today when we were talking about, I was talking about custody and talked about that exact topic. Because most court systems do 50-50. As I can only speak to North Carolina law, but most of, it's, 50-50 unless something really, really bad is going on. But then you get these people that, just try to use the court system to, manipulate and get what they want. And and you brought up a good point about judges. So I want to ask you, judges here are elected. So they may not they may not know anything about family law. Usually the attorney knows more about the law than they do. And I hate saying that, but it's true. What is it like up there?
Yeah, I think that judges have no idea what they're doing at all. And that's a huge problem. They have no education around abusive relationships and coercive control. And so when my clients are going in front of a lot of these judges, they are ill-equipped to detect for abusive behaviors. And oftentimes the abuser is very adept at being charismatic and being the victim and being an actor and being somebody that is well known in the community and philanthropic and makes large donations and finds the best attorneys and has the resources to.
Yeah, I was gonna say can hire the best attorney.
Yep, and has the resources to torture everyone involved, and yet sort of feign this appearance that they are, well intentioned and all of this bullshit. So I see a ton of that with my clients trying to, kind of shift the narratives where the smear campaign started and the seeds got planted long ago. And it's very, very hard to unring that bell. And so they tend to get victimized. And none of this is happening with any watchdogs. There's nobody paying attention to this. There's nobody counseling the judges on, what coercive control is. They're not interested in getting educated. Similar to what we see with police and military, they are not interested in learning too much about this. And it is it's basically human trafficking in a way, because they're making a ton of money off the backs of women and children in the judicial system. So Tina does a lot of really important work where she highlights them by name and exposes them on her Instagram page, which is extremely bold, because, as you know, toxic people will come after you personally in all the ways. And so she has a lot of just badassery. She's like my hero.
Yeah, I understand. I feel I have over the years so anytime I've like media stuff I've done, I've talked very openly about our judges here like being elected and they may not know a lot about family law. I've had people kind of be like, yeah, you shouldn't say that or blah blah blah, and I'm like, well, it's true. Or I've called the court system a circus tent, because it is. Like. So I wanted to ask you about, so are the judges there, do you know, are they elected or are they appointed by merit?
I think it depends on the district. I do think it's both regionally.
Yeah.
So it depends, I think, also on the kind of court. Family court, I'm not entirely sure. And it is different in each district, I believe, because
Yes.
I hear both versions of that happening.
Yeah. So, have you ever been an expert in a custody case or brought in to testify?
I have been um I have been asked to input, but I've not testified directly. I've, been in the courts with clients that fly me to different places to just sit with them
Yeah.
and court watch. And I do biopsychosocials for my clients all the time. So I liaison with attorneys a good amount of my day because they're all being tortured by their abusers in that realm. It's literally pageantry for narcissists. They love the court system. This is their favorite place. They click around, and they love like the pomp and circumstance of it all. This, it's very intimidating for somebody
Yeah.
who doesn't understand it. And they have a ton of success. They have the attorneys that find the loopholes, and the attorneys a lot of times are narcissistic themselves, and so a lot of them are
Hmm.
kind of playing into one another,
Yeah.
and all at the expense of the most vulnerable in our world, which is our children. Fortunately for me, I never married a narcissist, and I think that's the reason why I'm able to speak out so boldly about this, because I'm not going to be exploited and tortured in that way. I still find myself in the family court system to this day. It's a different matter, but my son's father is neurotypical, and my son is also 25 years old, so we're not going to be going back to family court. But the idea is that there are so many people who are really, really in trouble. They end up in jail sometimes. Their children are taken from them. They are re-traumatized by having to go up against these attorneys that just are so abusive. So it's a re-traumatization of sorts to go into the family court system in the first place and not be believed about your children being sexually abused, etc. So I hear the most horrifying stories, and I'm sure you hear some pretty bad
Yeah.
ones as well. But this is all I do, is deal with domestic violence. So that's kind of
Oh, I
my
see.
thing.
Yeah.